Welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me. So today I wanted to talk about another Garret PI novel. I tried to find a more updated version of the book cover here, but all the pictures I was finding of the newer book cover they were really blurry. So I went with this one. The novel is called Bitter Gold Hearts by Glen Cook. He has quite a number of novels that, so there are, let's see, in the Garret PI series, or Garret Files, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books in the series. But Glen Cook has also done some other series that are pretty good. I have all the Black Company novels that he did. And apparently he also has another series called Dread Empire and Instrumentalities of the Night, Starfishers, Dark War, and some standalones. I'm going to have to look at some of these. I didn't realize he'd done so many. Anyway, I really enjoy the Garret PI series. I also like the Black Company series. I'll have to look into the Dread Empire and some of the other stuff that he's written. But anyway, the story here with Bitter Gold Hearts. So all of the Garret PI novels have some reference to a metal. The first, Sweet Silver Blues. Bitter Gold Hearts is the second one. Cold Copper Tears, Old Tin Sorrows, Dread Brass Shadows. All of them have a reference to metal in the title. So, Bitter Gold Hearts. Lady shows up. Her name is Amaranda Crest. Apparently she's employed by one of the Storm Wardens. Now, a Storm Warden is... There are various types of sorcerers in the universe where Garret operates. And they all get different titles based on the type of magic that they're most adept at. So a Storm Warden is someone who can control weather. And so the Storm Warden, Raver Styx, she has a son, Carl DePaina, and he's been kidnapped. Now, Raver Styx is out of town, and so her staff is understandably anxious that this gets resolved as quickly and as cleanly as possible, and so they come to Garret, who is who bills himself as a troubleshooter, an independent agent, and he likes it that way. So the kind of interesting thing about the Garret files, and one of the things that I've really enjoyed about the two series that I've read by Glen Cook is their mashups. The Garret PI series is very much a mashup of hard-boiled detective and fantasy. With the Black Company, it's very much a mashup of military. I don't know what you'd call it. It's not. It's a military novel. It's a armed forces novel, but mashed up with fantasy. So I very much enjoy this combination of genres. Probably won't always work, but there have been several mashups between like detective or police and fantasy that I very much enjoyed. Bitter Gold Hearts is one of them. So they rope Garret in. say rope Garret in, but they hire Garret to act as the liaison between the family and the kidnappers. It's his job to drop off the money and to make sure that the money gets to the kidnappers so that they can get the kidnapped son back. One of the interesting things about, the kidnapping and everything, one of the things that, no direct experience, obviously, but one of the things that always is conveyed pretty heavily in, police dramas and movies and whatever is you don't do that, because that's a really good way to not see the person ever again. Why would the kidnapper need that person when they've got the money? So anyway, obviously it doesn't go according to plan, and Garret ends up getting dragged deeper into the situation between the Storm Warden's family and the kidnappers, and trying to figure out what is going on and who's involved. Why is this happening? Now, obviously, there's a lot more going on than first meets the eye. The kidnappers happen to be ogres. There's prostitutes involved. The organized crime gets involved in it. Garret ends up dragging in his friend Morley, the dark elf, in order to help him. The Storm Warden shows up to throw a further wrench in the plan. So, if you're interested in detective novels where you have the as the saying goes, you have the hard-boiled detective. If you like that kind of genre, you may be interested in this particular series. The first book you want to start with is Sweet Silver Blues. Now, this may not be your cup of tea. I completely understand that. This, for me, I like detective novels. Agatha Christie being one of my favorites, I realize that that Agatha Christie may not be the best detective writer, but I really like the Poirot series that she wrote, and I like the way she writes. It's very approachable. But anyway, I digress. As the saying goes, I also very much enjoyed Simon R. Green, who has some mashups as well, but he also has a series. I'm trying to remember he has a series, and I want to say it's the Magical Forest series, but it kind of it starts there, but then it goes into Haven, which is a city in the world that he created, and it's kind of strange the way that he wove those two series together. But anyway, if you want the detective stories in the fantasy world, you want to look for the Haven stuff with Hawk and Fisher. I guess it's the Hawk and Fisher series, but anyway, jumping back to Glen Cook. So there's a lot to when you get into Bitter Gold Hearts. There's a lot to kind of unpack. We have Garret, who follows some of those hard-boiled detective tropes. that you can understand and that have been presented in media so often. But then it's thrown into a situation where Garret may go up against an ogre. Now, obviously, with the hard-boiled detective, the detective may be running up against thugs who are physically more imposing than him. But in this case, it's like a 10-foot tall monster that eats humans. So how does Garret end up dealing with this kind of threat where he's trying to investigate this mystery, this kidnapping of a sorceress's son? Anyway, quite a good series, good book, highly recommend it. That's it for today. Let me know if you've read any of the books by Glen Cook, specifically the stuff that by him that I haven't read yet. If you've read Bitter Gold Hearts, if you've read any of the Garret PI series, if you've read any of the Black Company, let me know. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Bitter Gold Hearts. Let me know if there's any other books that are similar to this genre where we have the detective in a fantasy world. I really do enjoy those. So let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, put the bell on so you get notifications, and until next time, enjoy what you're reading.